microphone, I think. All right.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are live right now. This is Daniel LaPrade. I'm Carl Worth. We are management within KC Security.
Yes, we are, and we're back with another Q&A session. We're going to talk about security. So just before we get started, I'll allow some people to get on the feed here because we are broadcasting to 5 different platforms. So we are on YouTube, Twitter, our Facebook page, also my personal Facebook page, and as well as our Security Patrol Canada group that we have. So we will be, so you can ask questions. We should see them come up in our comments. So that'll be good. So anything, if you got a question for Carl or I or about the company, make sure you send it in. We are broadcasting today from the ONNtv studio, where we did it last time. Not the last one, actually. The last one we did in my basement.
That's right.
Because, with
COVID
and everything right in the middle of it. So the last one before that, we were in here. So thank you to Sault Online on TV for allowing the use of the studio. Those of you who may or may not know, I also have a weather position here at ONNtv where you can catch me in this studio doing weather. So you can catch me on mornings, Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. or 1 p.m. Doing the weather. So, but thank you to them for allowing us to use the studio because it's nice to have the lighting. And,
definitely.
We can be set up properly, right?
Yeah. So, and just so that everybody knows, you may notice that Dan is going to be looking down a little bit. So it's because that is where the comments are going to be. So if you guys have any comments or questions, that's where it's going to be. So he's looking down just to make sure that we're not missing anything from you guys.
Right, and I'm going to go quickly on my Facebook and make sure that I set it to public. So bear with me while I do that. But, if anybody has any questions, we didn't get any sent in beforehand. Sometimes people send in some stuff beforehand, but nobody sent in anything.
Well, you know what? I actually kind of did. I had a friend of mine contact me and asked me about how somebody becomes what they need to do for security work. So I offered this person the website, kcsecurity.ca/training, which takes you to what is the Ontario Security Hub.
Yes, we have a partnership with them.
Yeah.
So you can do your training through them. It'll bring you right through to them. And you click on it, you click register now, and it's $119. So
just cheaper than in class.
It's and you can work at your own pace that way, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, and with COVID stuff now too, classroom things, you'd be limited to the amount of people you could have, and it's just not feasible really, right? So we prefer to have this online option, and it actually has been good. It's been well received. So
yeah, it definitely has been. So if anybody's looking to become a security guard or get their security license, that's the way to do it. I mean, that way you're not having to go somewhere to a classroom and be, worried and concerned about what's happening, what's going on. Do it at your own pace, online, in your own home, and it's totally accredited. So there is no issues with, is this going to be a real, whatever. No, it definitely is 100%. It's legit, it's real, and it's only $119.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I did have some people that applied to us, right, over the last few months. And the other issue just we should mention is there was a backlog because the drive test was closed. The Ontario government closed all those, for a few months. They did open up in late June, early July, but there's a backlog. Apparently they're not taking new appointments because I had somebody who, she said, I want to write my test, I can't. So what do I do, right? And so I told her to call, and she said, yes, they are open, but they're not taking new appointments. So it is posing a problem for people wanting to get in, and companies, we all need guards, right? Because we ended up needing it, majorly over this time. So I don't know, if anything, the Ontario government will hopefully learn from this, and maybe move to a better model. Quebec had this, they were fine. They have online. BC, where I worked for 10 years previously, they had it under control. So Ontario really needs to modernize when it comes to this. We've been advocating for this for a while. And unfortunately, we were getting some feedback from the government, and I was talking to some people in the Solicitor General's office, we were having some meetings, and then the pandemic hit. So, and you can write off the next 2 years because that's pretty much going to take their focus, right?
Yeah, and not even just advocating for here in Ontario, but we've really kind of as a whole, kind of been advocating for um, oneness. I don't know how you would say this.
Like to
Like
have,
everything across Canada be the same,
yeah,
uniformity
yeah,
across Canada,
yeah.
because we're one country, right? That's so why is it that out in BC they have different rules and regulations than we do somewhere else,
Mhm.
right? I
Mhm.
mean, that's something that we have found to be kind of why. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I've actually have a group with a lot of small business, like security business owners across Canada that we created.
yeah,
And you know, and those of you who follow our Q&As will know that I did one with 6 other companies back in May. So you know, a couple of those companies are, you know, like Vigilant Security down in Kitchener Waterloo, James Special Services, which is down in Owen Sound, Ontario. Northern Protection, he's newer up in
yes,
Kapuskasing, and David Babbage in Sault, British Columbia from Shadow West, Joel Carr
yeah,
Security, Ben in Halifax. So there's you know, lots of companies that we in Third Watch Protection in Hamilton. Like, a lot of us, we talk about all these things, and you know, the majority of us are in Ontario. But you
yeah,
know, getting you know, oh, I forgot Total Protection. He's in Alberta, right?
yeah,
And he was in Saskatchewan. So hearing how out of date Saskatchewan is, like 1997 was last time.
yeah.
Like, and in Halifax, Ben was telling me that all the licenses expire on March 31st for every security guard in the province. So guess what
Really,
happened right at middle of March? Everything closed
nobody could
down.
work.
And then you have to have an original signature apparently. Like, you got to go and hand in. Like, you can't do it online. So
Oh
they waived it
wow,
obviously for this year because of COVID. But
yeah,
if they could do it for that, then why not make it a normal? You know, like thankfully we can go on and renew our security licenses.
Yep.
Online, which is a, you know, like you just did yours. Mine will
Yep.
be coming up soon. Um,
Which I got confirmation it was approved.
or
I
already.
just got the email today.
Wow. So you know what? And when Nathan had to put his through, his was a bit delayed.
Okay.
But they had extended the licenses, so we were fine.
That's right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I talked to the guy from the ministry, one of the deputy registrar, Stephen, and he had said, he's like, I'm in every day, you know, extra hours, proving 2 to 3,000 applications a day, right, trying to clear the backlog. So they were,
Wow.
you know, making an effort, and they did communicate. But there was no worry that if your guard overlapped, like they said, don't worry about it because, you know, given the situation.
Exactly.
So that is something that we talk about a lot in those Q&As with them because it is a common trend.
Yes.
So yeah, if you do want to get into security though, you can do the course anytime and at your own pace, and you'll need to get your first aid.
Yeah, first aid, CPR.
You can do that through whoever, and we also have a partner, Superior EMS, here locally that in Sault Ste. Marie that offers that training. So
Yep.
you could use them as well. You'll get a discount, but you're free to go to whoever you want.
Oh yeah.
If you already have your first aid, then that's one less thing you have to pay for.
Exactly.
So we are just checking here. We got no comments or questions yet. So everybody send in your comments if you have them. we want to see. We got but so far everything seems to be working fine.
Good.
And
I'm going to put it out there. We're actually using a program called StreamYard.
Yeah.
Amazing program. Dan has used it in the past before. Mm-hmm. I use it for a podcast that I do. We did started doing video podcasts and decided to use StreamYard. It's an awesome. Yeah, we do a pro wrestling podcast called Turnbuckle Talk. StreamYard's an amazing platform, and I can't thank them enough. They're always listening to feedback from the users and kind of, you know, doing things to kind of upgrade their systems. They just did that as well. You were only able to keep your recordings for 10 days. It's now up to 15 days. For the basic use, there's a free, there's a basic, and then there's the pro. Yeah. On the basic, you're now allowed 3 different platforms that you can stream it to. For $25 American a month. So I'm paying like $35 a month, and I get to do all of this video content, which is fantastic.
And it allows, you guys can see on the screen, we've got banners up, tickers, you can put your logo. I can display a comment when somebody comments. it is really nice to have that. And I noticed they also, you have 10 people now.
Yes. Yeah.
Stream,
Yeah. That was
cool.
2 weeks ago, I believe. They upped it to 10. You could only have 6 before. They've upped it now to 10.
Right.
10 in the entire thing, which is
right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you look at a screen, that fills up pretty fast.
Oh, it does.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, so we covered that, which is good because we do get a lot of questions about people wanting to, how do they get into security? And
yeah, just as I was on my way here.
Yeah,
I got it. So I'm there, and I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, this is important. Let me just.
Yeah.
So I looked it all up and got it all for her. She's an old friend of mine. Used to work with her down at the mall. So
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, definitely. Like, I will definitely give you all the information I can. So
Yeah, well, and it's helpful. And like I said, the female I was talking to that applied to us and had been going through all these steps, she did everything I told her to do. And right now she's at a roadblock because of the government and not being able to write the test. And it's frustrating because if we end up needing to hire immediately, and then I got to go down to somebody else that maybe has a license already. Right now, we're in a position where we might be looking at hiring maybe one or two more people in the near future, casuals, potentially part-time. I mean, we do have a lot of staff that work other jobs, so it allows that flexibility. So we do allow that, obviously. And, and if you have school, but our staff has been great throughout this whole ordeal, and everybody's been working. And
they've been fantastic. I mean, they've been good to let us know what's coming up, their scheduling for other jobs and stuff like that. If you work with us, we're going to work with you. I mean, that's
and not only that, like some of them were laid off from their jobs, in retail and whatnot. So I was able to keep them working full time, so they didn't have to go on serve or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody wanted to work. Not one person said, I'm afraid to come in. We might have adjusted where we put somebody, right, depending on their situation, but everybody said that we still want to work. So thank you to our staff as usual. We do have bit of an older photo up here, but it is one of our nicer ones. Some of them aren't with us anymore. Some of them have moved on to corrections or policing, right? So thank you to everybody who's still with us and who has been a part of our success.
Oh yeah, the past 5 years, there's I can't say that we've had a lot of employees, but the employees that we've had have always been just willing to work, and really there to do the work. So it's been great that we've been able to have that and to be able to establish a good name when it comes to employment. Right? There's lots of other companies and not even just security companies, but lots of other companies that have such a high turnover rate that it kind of makes you question if you really want to go and work for them. We kind of pride ourselves on having longtime employees, and most employees that are not with us any longer have actually moved on to, like you said, police, like corrections, different stuff like that.
We had 3, I think, last year. Thomas was the last one. In November there, and he went to the OPP. So he should be getting out of his training soon. I should be getting an update from him. And then we had Kaya, we had Callan. Kaya went to city police, and Callan went to correction. And we have a couple more right now that are in the process. I've given them references for their applications, so there might be a couple more in the near future that move on, right? And we know that, we expect that, we want to see that, right? Security is a stepping stone to gain that experience. So by no means would we, be upset when somebody leaves.
Not at all.
Because that's what you're working towards.
Right? Exactly.
So I haven't been able to, I don't know what happened here, but I haven't been able to get into my Facebook. So, because I have to, if I don't make that public, I can't see the comments from my Facebook, and I don't want to exit on here because it might shut off.
Understandable.
So I'm going to keep trying on here. So just, we're on here. So I'll go into my profile. But like I said, we've got fans all over the place, right? Like on our page, we got, around the world. Like people follow us. They like these Q&As. They like when we interact. We do get a lot of compliments about our live videos when when you do your chats or open lines, or
Yeah, my
I
open
go and do
lines.
my weather or road updates or something
Yeah.
right at 3 in the morning. So let's see here.
Yeah, I haven't done an open lines in a while.
No, and I haven't been on there either for video. So we are
I think
still
the last one was that big rainstorm we had, what, about a week and a half
see, I'm
ago?
missing these comments. Oh yeah, we did that. You and I, we both went live.
Yeah.
And then I literally said, and like we may get an alarm, with like we do with storms.
Yeah.
And no sooner than that, the phone rings.
phone rang.
And I said right on the thing, I said, all right, I gotta go. Carl's
Yeah.
gotten a call, his screen froze.
Yeah.
So yeah, during thunderstorms and storms, we get slammed usually with, whether it's a power outage or
Oh yeah.
it sets off all the alarms.
It does. It's crazy sometimes. Especially a power outage. If a power outage happens, then definitely like the alarm systems are going to go haywire because they need that power. They're expecting that there is power there. If there's a surge in power, same thing. Yeah, it's just crazy sometimes.
Okay, so I got him up here, so now I can go on the.
Oh, nice.
I can put him on the screen. So Parento, who watches all the shows.
Oh yeah.
Right? Thank you very much for supporting us all the time. But she had said, what would you estimate the cost of roughly taking the course? Like I mentioned, it's 119 if you do the course like through us from Ontario Security Hub.
Yeah.
And then if you're wanting to know all the other costs, your first aid's probably looking at 125, 150, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
And then when you are completed everything, $80 for your license. Your security license, it's good for 2 years. It expires on your birthday, similar to a driver's license. So,
I think what you might be referencing is what is the difference between the cost of doing it online and doing it as a course.
Oh yeah, that's
so
true.
When I did it, I'm looking 7, 8, 9,
2012.
I can't remember.
Something like that.
Something like that. It's been a while.
Yeah.
When I did it, it was $250 for the course. Wow. So yeah, $250 plus then first aid CPR, which I think was $110, and then the $80 to write the test, and then $80 for the license.
Yeah.
So
and they were only good for a year.
And they were only good for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the startup cost, I guess you could say, to get into the security business.
Well, I remember too. Back when they were asking for feedback, when they were updating, when they switched it to 2 years, it was good for instead of 1 year. At the time, I was working in BC, and BC you didn't get a discount if you renewed up to 3 years, but they gave you the option of 1, 2, or 3 years. So say you wanted, it was $60 a year. So say you wanted to renew it for 3 years and not have to worry about it, was $180. So my suggestion to the Ontario government when they came asking all the guards, was do this model, make it either 2 years, 3 years, however, usually you can't go more than 3 because of criminal records and stuff like that, because they got to do those frequent checks. But I said, offer a discount, $20 off or $40 off if you, so then people are going to renew for those. And then it's less work for them. They're not processing as many applications, but they moved to a 2 year, still the same price. So you're getting it's really $40 a year. So that's not too bad.
No.
So that was a smart move on their part. And if they do want to modernize it again or look at adding some deals, that's what you can do, right? You can add a discount of some sort. But yeah, and when I did the course, I started security in 2008, and it was in BC with Paladin Security. They're a large national company now. Actually, they are in the US too. Yeah. And when I started with them, they were only out in BC, a little bit in Alberta. And I've watched them expand like crazy. They're here in Ontario. They're all the way across the country. They've got PAL American Security in the US.
Yeah.
So they were a very good company to work for. They paid for all the training. So I literally just applied. I showed up, had my interview, and then they sent me to Vancouver.
Okay.
Because I was in Victoria. So they paid for they paid for your hotel, all that stuff, all your expenses. It was a 2-day course. And you actually had a physical component where you learned a bit of hand-to-hand combat.
Yep.
It was 65 hours at the time, and they covered all that. So The only difference was, and I'm going to actually reference that here because Jay commented. I'm going to put it up on the screen for everybody. Just remember, it wasn't too long ago the companies had to endorse your licenses attached to the company, not individuals. So getting to that, it was like that here, but it was also like that in BC. So I worked for two companies at one point, and I actually had to get permission from both companies. They had to sign off on it.
Yes.
And normally, you know how some companies grumble about,
Oh yeah,
we deal with that around here. There are certain companies that don't want to share people that they cause problems.
Yep.
But I like to remind everybody that you are legally allowed to work for whoever you want, and they can't stop you. So
that's right. Your license is your license.
You own that license. You obviously, like when you work for us, you sign an NDA, non-disclosure, right? So you work for somebody else, that's your business.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
So we share employees. We have many employees that work. In fact, you were working for the commissioners at one point before you were operations manager, and we didn't have the work.
Yep.
Enough work. So and it worked out, right? So, but yeah, now I guess I did take that.
Yeah.
But I guess they realized how much more work that was, and I think that's what Ben's referring to in Halifax. It's still kind of along that same line. So they did modernize a bit out in British Columbia. The act. It took a while.
Yeah.
Same here, right? A lot of these provinces, they don't do anything until something happens. Right. Instead of being proactive.
Yep. Reactive instead of proactive.
Justin Ruchinski in British Columbia says I paid $300 for my security training in British Columbia just for BST. Then he just got a license back. So congratulations for getting back in. He got it back in 2009. And yeah, so if there is any, because we have a lot of people in BC. We did operate out there for a while too. It's called basic security training, so BST is, and then you have AST, which is like handcuffs, which is a 3-day course. So BST, 300. So that's about, what I'm seeing out there. They're charging 300 to 400 in class.
Yeah.
And then same thing. You got it. Well, there it's not mandatory to have your first aid to apply.
Okay.
It's recommended, but you can apply for your license without it. So it's pretty close. Those two provinces, Ontario and BC, kind of model after each other.
Yeah.
They both reduced it to 40 hours. Remember, it was 65.
Yeah, it was.
And then they went to 40 because when we had the Olympics in 2010, they're like, crap.
Yeah, we need people now.
We need to get people licensed. And of course, they shipped in people from other provinces. And there was exemptions too.
Yeah.
But I remember that because I was out there working. And they couldn't get enough people. Right. No. So they had to make some exemptions. And then now what they do too is you can go and get a 90-day license, right? A temporary license, before even getting any training. And you can work for a company and you can be under like supervision. So they can kind of be like shadowing. So as long as they're in contact with the supervisor, they can work and wear a uniform. But they have to get their course done in that 90 days or that license. So it gives them, so it actually allows them to start working and making money to pay for the course.
That's here in Ontario?
No, that's in BC.
In BC.
That is something I suggested here in Ontario.
Yeah.
I think Quebec is doing some of that too, to a point. But it's a way of getting people out in the field. I get it that you got to be careful. Getting them out there with not really any training or any knowledge of what's going on. So you do have to be watching them and having them supervised. But it still gets you somebody in the field, and then they can get the course as they go.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also helps with the backlog. Again, right? Because the improvement is quick. As long as you don't got a criminal record, you'll get approved.
Yeah.
Who else do we got here? Derek Pierce. We all know Derek Pierce.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Derek. Are you guys opening to partnering with up and coming business? And if so, the Brickspace Club chat. We're always open to local partnerships. And for anybody who doesn't know, and Derek can maybe explain, he's starting up a new business called the Brickspace. And you can actually see there's been features. I know Danny, or one of our reporters here on ONNtv, is doing one soon. So maybe Derek can explain more on comment there so we have more information. But I think it's good to have anybody who's starting to, it's hard enough locally. I've been there. So I'll support whoever, we have many partnerships with local businesses that we rely on heavily, right? Like we've been partners with a lot of companies over the years. Some of my first ones like Driver's Seat,
Yes.
You know, and driver's seat is still doing very well, very successful today. They've launched shuttle service too, like
Oh, really?
yeah. So you know, so
yes,
Steve's
that's
doing a
right.
great job over there.
Yes.
Steve did that. So you know, some of these businesses that we partnered with, that we did contests with, it really helped, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're always open to that. There's another phone call.
Yeah.
So didn't interrupt the.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the phone never stops. Eh? Maybe it's somebody calling to complain about the weather forecast. It's sunny out. Don't complain.
That's right.
Right. Okay, we're all caught up on our comments.
All caught up. Awesome.
See, and I did miss this one from Jay too. For that license point, he said 1 year my license expired because the company forgot to send mine in. Yeah, that was a problem.
Oh.
Right, if the companies forgot, and then you know the guards running around. So what if they happen to get an inspection? Right.
Right.
Yeah. That actually brings me to a good point we can chat about for a bit. Is this dominated our Q&A with all the other agencies, the enforcement, the lack of enforcement, all that stuff, and we talk about needing an overhaul for the whole act.
Yeah.
The inspector. So here's the thing. I had my business license. Well, we might as well start with that fiasco. So I applied in January 2015. Okay, it's supposed to be 90 days, provided all your information's fine. You got to send in your, pictures of your vehicles, what your design's going to be, your uniforms. So everything you see here, right, I had to send in for pre-approval. And they'll deny you if, originally actually we were going to have a yellow stripe on the car, and that doesn't go according to the code. So that's why there's green, which I liked it. So no. So, so we have the green. So anyways, I apply in January, right at the beginning of January. And so things are going February, end of February, or somewhere we're getting almost at the 2.5 month mark to get you're approved in principle, which means now, okay, I got to go and get insurance and submit. That means they are going to approve me. It's just now it's the final step, right? Because they don't make you go and get insurance in case they deny your application.
Exactly.
So then I get, now we're past the end of March. It's 90 days, right? Okay. So, and then next thing you know, it's 120 days. Now we're through April.
Okay.
Right? Like so now I'm getting really frustrated because I have to start, operations and, my license. What's going on here? Right. So, it wasn't until May 13th, 2015 that I got it. I applied in January. So a little over 4.5 months it took to get my business license. So you got to remember, I gave up the job because I couldn't work for another company while I'm trying to start my own.
Right.
I had relocated back to Sault Ste. Marie. I was in British Columbia. So I relocated here to start. So now I've got no income. I'm waiting on this license, and the government's sitting on it. Like there was no excuse. And the only reason I got it on May 13th is because on May 11th, I called our local MPP here at the time, which was David Orzetti. And he happened to be the Minister of Community Safety and Correctional Services at the time, which oversees our ministry. Now it's just under Ministry of Solicitor General.
Yeah.
And I explained the whole situation to him. 2 days later, I got an email with my license. And then a phone call the next day from him saying, was this resolved? So it took me going to a politician, which actually got something done. Yeah. So to his credit, he was good he communicated with me. And thankfully he was sitting member in cabinet,
right? Yeah,
right. It kind of helped, right? Because he was able to just say, "I'm going to just take this file on my own," right?
Yeah.
So that's what he did. So of course I was frustrated, right? I went to ministry and said, like, what is this? Like, this can't be. Like, you're going to sink these companies because you're sitting on it for too long. And full disclosure, I started operations before we actually had the physical license. It was approved in principle. But at that point, I was like, I have to work, right? So that in turn got some other companies to stir the pot and file complaints, and because that's what they do. And those complaints were thrown out. At the end of the day, we went to court, and the judge just said, "This is a waste of my time, and these companies can get a life." So basically, right? So that's that. That's how I got the license, right? So that fiasco. Now I can't remember where I was going with this.
I don't know.
Right.
You just went on a tangent.
Well, because I know I want to start right from the beginning about the business license, right? So I can't remember right now. but maybe it'll come back to me.
Maybe.
Well, if you want to bring up something, but I literally was going on. I'm like, I know this was tying into something, and then I just lost my train of thought. I wanted to make sure that people know about the licensing issue with businesses, though, because that's what we.
Yeah, you were talking something about licensing, and then you went into how your business license first before personal licenses.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you were trying to talk to or get to about personal licenses, but
well,
again, I mean, a personal license is your personal license.
Yeah.
So
yes,
as Dan mentioned, you there is no company that can tell you can't work for two companies at the same time.
Right.
If their policy is that they will not hire somebody or let somebody work if they're working for another company, then that's their policy. Unfortunately, that's what they're going to go by. But nobody and no company can tell you that you cannot do that because it's your personal license. So essentially, and it's maybe not the right word to say, but you're essentially an independent contractor to begin with.
Yeah. Well, pretty much, right? And so, these companies that try to restrict you, right? And not just here locally, but all over the place, right? You deal with it, doesn't matter what province you're in. Some companies still choose to, because people don't know, right? Unless they're researching all this stuff. And of course, I had to educate myself with their act and make sure I knew what we couldn't do.
Yeah.
So but having to wait that long for the license, it just caused a lot of problems. And they with the renewals, it's not as bad. They haven't been well. Probably they have a red flag now when KC Security shows up. They should approve because you're gonna hear from me, right? But I have maintained contact. Oh, I was getting to the inspections.
Oh, yes.
There we go. Yes, because so that's like.
See, we got to it.
Yeah, I explained how long it took to now. So within 30 days, you're supposed to get an inspection, right?
Okay.
Make sure that your car and your uniform looks like you said, and you're not, things are in order. They come check your office out or wherever your place of business is, right? It could be your house, and just kind of go over everything with you, and then you get a compliance thing. So 2 years goes by. Remember, 30 days, right? 2 years goes by, and then finally in August or July 2017, I get a email saying I've got an inspection coming up in August 2017. And at the time it was Wesley. He was one of our inspectors. He's not with the ministry anymore. He's now with Toronto Police Community, I think, or Housing, something like that. But he was great. He came down, and he used to like to travel. He liked to be Northern Ontario. Yeah. And usually they only hit it so often. But he was great. He came and met with me, made sure everything was tickety boo. They sign off, give you a paper, and then you can proudly say like, "Hey, we're in compliance," right?
Right.
So Wesley's great. We still talk to this day. If I got a question about something like I'm not sure about, I can go to him.
Yeah.
And here we are in August 2020, just about. It's another 3 years, and there's been no more inspections. And so then at the beginning of this year, I talked to some of the staff there, of course, because like I said, talking to them about other things and changes. And they said, when are you guys coming to Sault Ste. Marie next? And I said, oh, well, hopefully soon. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. So we may not see them for another 2 years.
Right.
Because, we're in Northern Ontario. And what happens is once they go past Barrie, they're lost. Right? Everything past Barrie is like, where do we go?
Yeah.
They look on the map and they see, well, Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury and Thunder Bay. Oh, that looks close, right? But because they drive, like they drive to all these cities and they stop in all the small places and they'll check in the bars and check it. And so I don't know when they'll be back in Sault Ste. Marie to do some inspections. We'll get a heads up usually.
Yeah.
They don't just show up and surprise you, although I think they would catch more violations then. But I think we need more of that because companies all over the place across the province there's a lot of illegal companies operating. They have no license, they're not insured, they're not, they're going around with the wrong uniforms. It's a problem even in the GTA, right? Yes. Where they're based, where they can go out and inspect.
They can go right down there.
I get it. Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay, and all that, we're quieter. There's not many companies, so less. And usually when they come here, they nab the bars the most.
Yeah.
Usually the companies I have to say the companies in this city are pretty good with compliance. but Sudbury had some issues too, right? So yeah, that's where I was getting with that.
Yeah.
Because when you only have one inspector now for the whole province, how do you expect them to tour the largest province in the country?
Right.
You know, we are the largest population, and if you've ever driven through Ontario, it takes like 20,000 days.
Yeah.
You know, Saskatchewan, you blink. You know, I've driven from BC to here, and you start up near Kenora there, and just to get here, we're in the halfway point.
Yeah.
St. Marie. And then if you go all the way through to Quebec or wherever you're going, this is a big province. So
it definitely is.
Imagine France times 2.
You pretty much,
you know,
yeah,
land wise. So there you go. Do we have any more comments here?
I don't know. You got
Mike
the screen in front of you.
Yeah, Mike, producer Mike.
Oh,
Tchaikovsky. See, even when I'm not doing the weather, Mike's got to be on my case. So, you know what, Mike?
What did you even say?
Yeah, okay. Who's a better security guard, you or Karl?
What were you looking at over there?
Yeah. See, Mike. You know, I don't like the way you put the picture. You know, you could have done a better job than that. You know, you just left the studio, you left the monitors on for me. I had all this work to do. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. If you're still watching, we're both great. I'll just leave it at that.
Good water.
See, Nathan's not here, so we can't get comments from the peanut gallery. So.
This is good water.
So anybody who doesn't know, Nathan's our vice president, Nathan Hardy. You know, Karl's the operations manager. Karl's been with us pretty much since the beginning, minus a couple times that you had to work elsewhere when there wasn't enough work. You were still with us, but you know.
I'm employee number 000001.
Yes, yeah, he's still. Yeah. Yeah. People don't believe me when I say he's literally, you know, I mean, he wasn't here on day one because obviously I didn't need any employees. I had to do everything, right?
Because it was mainly mobile.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I said when I first had to hire, I said it was you, right? And then Brittany.
Yes.
Brittany Hurley was one of our other first employees. So yeah, you know, it's, you know, once we got there, we had 3 of us, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then we would use some people for events. You know, when we did Laird Fair and that, we had extra people. So, you know, now we're sitting at about, around 20, I'd say, just under 20 here. And then about, you know, another 5 or 6 regulars in Elliott Lake, plus event people when we need them. So if you were to say everybody, even including the people who work maybe once every 6 months, you're probably looking around 30. You know, on the payroll. So I mean, that's pretty good. In 6 years we've grown. You know, takes time.
Oh, it does.
You know, and turnover will be there.
Oh yeah.
And we try to avoid, you know, like we said earlier, if you can keep them happy, you know, some of them are gonna move on. There's nothing you can do about that. But we also have people who've been with us a while or they've returned.
Yeah,
or they went to another job and they, you know, things didn't work out, they didn't like it, or they decided they missed security. So, you know, provided if anybody leaves on good terms, I have no problem. You can come back anytime, right?
That's right.
So there's a message to some of our former people. If you're watching or you didn't leave on bad terms, then you're more than welcome to get in touch with me and see what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when they're trained already and they're already licensed.
And sometimes it's good even for us just to have a good casual list of people because in this industry, things come up on the fly. So we could get a phone call today that says, hey, we need somebody for a week at this location. Do you have anybody? Yeah. And we need 24-hour service, which now means that we're looking at least 2 people. No, we're looking at least 4 people.
Because you know we can't work them 7 days.
That's right.
So 12-hour shifts.
12-hour shifts, 4 people.
Yeah.
Right. So if we have those casuals that we can just kind of call up and be like, hey, I got something for the next week. You available? And it really helps out. And we've done that before with other guards that have worked with us or for us.
Yes, we called them back up and they say, hey, if you're available, or or they may work for another company and they happen to be off, so then they work for us. You know, I mean, because we do get last minute stuff. We did get one, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. We have a Facebook group with all of our employees, and you know, that's the easiest way of communicating. So I put it in there. I can see when they've seen it, and you know, I see if anybody's available, and nobody was able to take it. And I look at the schedule myself too, to see on my end.
Yeah.
And I can, there was just nobody available to do it. So I couldn't take it, right? So I directed them to another local company here that we deal with. So,
Yeah.
at least somebody gets to work that's local, right?
Right.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be heartbroken if I can't staff it. There's nothing, I'd rather see
Exactly.
it go to another company, locally.
That's
So,
right.
So we do work with some of the other companies here, including the nationals when they subcontract us.
That's
So,
right. Yeah.
there's a lot of presence from the nationals, but not necessarily their own guards, right?
Yes.
So the G4S guard, Securitas companies, people in Southern Ontario would know them more prominently because that's where they're huge,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
So
Major
and
offices
even
there.
and even though they are big in these places, they still sub because talking to these other companies, they even still get work from them.
Really?
Even with them having cars on the road because they're just so big and so busy, right? Yeah, so that's good. Nothing new here. Oh, there I missed the one from Derek.
Oh.
We would love to have KC Security featured in our Lego City layout that will be in our store. We would love to have Daniel and Karl in minifigure form with a Lego version of the KC Cruiser as well. This will be one of the 40 things people have to find in the prize. Can you imagine us in Lego?
I can imagine me in Lego.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And the car.
And the car.
Yeah. You can pick one of the cars. So.
Yeah, so you'll just have to get together with Derek and get in contact with him. And Yep, he was in contact with me about it. And my answer was, well, we need to talk to the big boss about this. And so he's talking to the big boss right now.
Yeah.
Which is good. So yeah, I mean, like you guys can definitely collaborate together and get things figured out.
Like you said, it's good that he's, starting a business.
Oh yeah.
Right? And I know Derek,
the brick space. It's on. I'm pretty sure he's got a Facebook page for it
now. Yeah.
Like it's gonna be Legos. Who doesn't love Legos?
And I know Derek's a big Lego fan.
I mean, except for the parents when they're all over the floor and you're having to walk on them.
Say 3 in the morning and you can't see.
Right.
And you step on it.
But yeah, this should be a fun venture for Derek at least.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, and I hope it goes very well. Joe Morin.
Yeah.
Joe, how's it going, Joe? Joe is Karl's partner in the podcast, Turnbuckle Talk. Joe's a great guy. I remember when I did the interview with you guys back when you were doing it with Energy Rock Radio, 2015. So I have known Joe since you introduced me then. But Joe says, has there been any increase in crime there in the Sioux, like specifically robberies, especially right now with lots of people wearing masks? And Joe did live here in Sault Ste. Marie. He's relocated to Brantford. Yes, right. So he is familiar with the city. So I'm assuming they're having some issues.
They're having a few issues down there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily because of robberies or anything like that, but disposal of your masks is a big thing down there that I'm aware of. I really haven't seen much in the way of more for our businesses that we take care of anyways. We really haven't seen much of an increase in activity. For a while, the downtown was having some issues. The Downtown Association did get a hold of us and asked us to help them out. We did. We were doing patrols downtown at night, which seems to have curved things a little bit and has almost flattened issues.
There was pretty much nothing in those 3 months we did the patrol. So we definitely made a difference. Yeah. Not to mention all the other clients, our regular clients, some of them increased patrols, namely the school boards. Yes. 2-7 nights a week. So there's a heavy presence now. School properties being closed for 5-6 months like they are. We're hoping that they're open in September. We'll get buildings moving again. So it won't be so bad. Being they were closed so long, or for so long, they wanted to make sure that they took preventative action.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but really, lately, it's been pretty quiet, Joe, on our end. And I mean, I think that's a good thing when we're not getting beanies and stuff. Right. I mean, that means we're doing our job. I think, right? We're preventing things. And we did start some new clients not too long ago, being in July. They were having tons of problems. Break-ins and stuff, the vehicles getting keyed and the car gate and stuff. And hasn't been anything since. And I know some of the residents that are very happy. One of them came out last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. They've been trying to wanted security for years, but of course, when you're dealing with stratas and different boards and stuff, sometimes it takes time.
Yeah.
They tried somebody else maybe in the past and it didn't work. So we're doing a trial, and usually that's what happens, and I'm open to that. So if anybody's watching and they want to try our mobile service, we won't lock you in. Try us out. And then if you find that there's value, we'll keep you going. Or if you don't like it, then that's fine. Yeah, I don't believe in locking companies into businesses and people into long-term contracts. If you're not happy, I don't want you to stay.
That's right.
I want you to be happy. So, if they want to try us out, we'll give you a first month half price. So,
there you go. You heard it from the mouth.
Yeah,
first month half price.
Well, and it was on the. I did have an offer up. I did put it in the post, right? So try it now.
Yeah.
We'll give you. Really, realistically, if you want to try it for a week, maybe depending on what it is, we might even give you a week free. That's how confident we are that you're gonna see a positive, especially if you're happy.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. We have software we use that tracks all the patrols.
Oh yeah.
All the reports come right to your email. It's all timestamped.
Timestamp, GPS,
yep,
everything.
So when we were doing it for the downtown association, they knew exactly when we were there. If there was a break-in,
yep,
they have all that for business owners, insurance, because all those business owners are paying for it. Right?
Oh yeah,
so they want to know that they're getting the patrols, and somebody's not just saying, "Yeah, I received it." So
exactly.
That's important, right? Some companies don't use the software, and you're relying on trust, right?
That's right.
Which is fine because there's cameras too in a lot of places, but this is accountability for us too, and we can make sure our employees are doing their job.
Well. Yeah, exactly. That's been one of the biggest things is that unfortunately we've had to take some disciplinary actions against employees from these issues and not issues, but the software that we've used, right?
Yes, we were able to track if
we're able to see, and not that that's what we're out to do, but if we get a complaint, we have something that we can go back onto to say, oh wait, okay, you know what, maybe we apologize for this, and then right, because we've got it all right there. So we definitely use it to our advantage when it comes to keeping our staff accountable. Yeah. And even we use it.
I was just going to say, we're not
mobile.
Exempt.
No, we're not exempt.
We have to get out and scan, and walk around when it's pouring rain and all that and do it too, because, it comes up with our names. So it's not just
the staff. No, we as well as management, all of us in management, we use it as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
because we're accountable too.
Well,
we're accountable to the client.
We have to be.
Yeah,
we have to be accountable, because if the client's not happy and we don't have a client, we don't have a business, right?
That's right.
Everybody says when you start your own business, when you have your business, it must be nice to be your own boss. I'm like, to a point, I'm like, okay, I'm not reporting to somebody now, but I am. I'm reporting to the client.
That's
if
right.
my clients email me one morning and call and say, I'm pissed off, then. And they, say that's a big client that pays a lot of our bills or our employees, and we lose them. And we're not perfect, like everybody. Mistakes are made, and the best thing you can do is own up to them. And try to fix it. And do your best to make that client happy, right? And whether you're giving them, a bit of a break or a discount or a credit because something was missed, or we've all been there. But most clients are understanding. As long as you're not trying to dodge and make up a lie. Right?
Exactly.
Say oh yeah, no, we were there. Sorry, this was missed. We're not perfect. So, it's definitely, those are our boss, right? They pay our bills.
That's right.
So really, I do have a boss. People who think that I don't. I'm just not working for another manager or owner at a security company, right?
Yes.
So that's the only difference there. Just to follow up, Joe says, I'll put up on the screen. People throwing their disposable masks all over the place here is definitely a problem. Use garbage cans, people. Yes. Yes. It's ridiculous. The gloves too. Remember when the gloves was a thing? It's kind of died down a bit. Gloves and masks. You're doing more damage now to the earth. And we could probably go off on COVID tangent if we really wanted to, but we'll try to keep it to security. But it just baffles me, the behavior, right? For something apparently so dangerous, people just throw these gloves and masks everywhere. Right?
Exactly.
You think you'd want those disposed of properly if it's got a virus on it, right? Like, I don't understand. So smarten up, people.
And then think of those that have to go out and clean that, especially if you're looking at a Walmart or a mall location or something. Your now biohazardous mask has to be picked up by somebody else.
Yeah.
How nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, and how many times do we go around some of our properties too, and there's trash, people with their littering, beer cans, all kinds of stuff, broken bottles and masks. Why can't you just there's garbage cans.
And there's garbage cans. Yep.
It's one thing that you go along, sometimes you go like say you're traveling on the highway, you go on the highway, there's the side of the road, people throw, because there's no trash can. It's still not right.
No.
But you're more prevalent. But if you have a trash can in front of you, seriously, it's just, I'm telling you, people just don't have no care for anything.
I know.
And then, Joe, this should be common sense, but Yeah.
Well,
you're right, Joe.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, if everything was like, if everybody did that too, I mean, we probably wouldn't have a job to wait, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff we do is having to reiterate the same thing, right? Like you're trespassing on private property. It just it amazes me how many people don't realize that a school or a business is private property. You have no business being there. If you're not there for that business during business hours, then you stay off the property. Right? So that's probably a good thing we can talk about, because we have that issue, right? A lot of properties don't understand it. They think it's public. We can say it's a public school, or like a mall is public, as an example, but it's private. It's private property with public access, right? It's the same thing with the mall. You shouldn't be in a mall at night, right? That's trespassing. So the security can actually arrest you and detain you and do everything they need to do if they want it, right? As can we. But a lot of the times we let people off with a trespass warning, and we actually have forms, right? So then if you were caught again, you're going to be.
That's right.
And then the police will charge you, and going to create a lot of problems for it. So stay off these properties. You don't need to be there, and you won't have to deal with us if you don't leave your vehicles at a property overnight, because then you're going to get a parking ticket.
That's right.
It's just I don't understand some people, and I'm going to do this now. I was going to do a video about this, but I'll mention it on here too.
Sure.
Because we get calls from people when we write parking tickets, right? Most recently last week. Okay, our parking tickets, like everywhere in Ontario, are issued through the municipality. That's the way it works here. In BC, it was different. You can actually have your own private, like your company. You can have your own type of ticket, right? So we can have our own ticketing system, say for PC security. But our tickets are issued through the municipality of City of Sault Ste. Marie, through the provincial government Provincial Offences Act, right? So it is actually provincial offenses. You got to go to court if you want to dispute it, right? Yep. And then we would show up, that kind of thing. So it's not just a ticket that goes away, right? If you rip it up in front of me or you throw it away, you get it in the mail. It doesn't bother me. Whatever you choose to do, right? Yeah. I do remember in BC we had this paper that you can rip it. So they just put it in there, just get people, right? Just take it, and so I explained to them, your options are on the back of the ticket, what you want to do.
That's right.
So, we've started enforcing parking at a lot of our properties. We have some clients that specifically ask for that, right?
Yeah.
So people are getting pissed off because they're getting parking tickets they never got before. For example, if you pull up into, I'll use Market Mall as an example for anybody who knows in Sault Ste. Marie. We have the contract at Market Mall. There is fire lanes there, right? You can't park up against the building. Get out of your vehicle, go run into a store, leave it running or whatever, or go get booze at the LCBO or run into Metro. You are not a big red fire truck. You don't belong there, right? Yep. So naturally, we come through, where the guard working comes through and a ticket, right? And that's the way it is, because if there's ever a fire, and it's, I'm only going to be a minute, or no, too bad, right? Yeah. So they get a ticket. So that's just an example of a site, right? So now they're pissed off because they got a ticket. And then they see that it was KC Security, so they get on the phone and they call. Either comes through to me, they'll hit my extension for president, or they'll hit yours sometimes, or Nathan's. A lot of the times it's us actually doing it, so it's even funnier when they call and scream at me for something I've just done.
Yeah,
it's not going to go over well. So, anyways, the last one I got was one I actually issued, and I didn't end up taking the call. It was Nathan.
Okay.
And the guy was very upset that and was cursing away because all our phone calls were recorded, so I can hear him.
Yep.
So I reviewed it, and going on about this and that, and I just basically called back. He didn't answer. I left him a voicemail and said, like, don't call us back. Your options are on the back of the ticket. You don't call the company, you dispute it through the proper channels, right?
Yes.
And, I won't tolerate harassment of my guards, swearing, this or that, and I block their numbers, right? So they can't call back. So that's one of like 3 or 4 I think we've gotten, right? Where they call screaming at us. And like I said, I'm going to block your number. I'm going to block you because I'm not going to tolerate it. If you're going to be immature about that, and then they say they're going to go ahead and call the police and just tell them that you broke the law or you parked improperly and watch them laugh, right? Like, so don't call me, don't call any of my guards, and I just want to make sure that's out there because it drives me nuts.
Yes.
Right? That we have to even go through this, right? Like there's things you do, right? I mean, I've even given parking tickets in the past when I was younger, and I was upset too.
Yeah.
Right. But hey, I don't take it on. The person's doing their job, and if I feel that they didn't do their job properly, I will go and contest it with the options that are given to me on the ticket.
Yes.
Do not call the company issuing the ticket, right? And that goes for any company issuing tickets or commissionaires enforcing city regulations, right?
Yep.
You don't call them. You deal with the city because it's through the city. So
all information is on the back of the ticket.
That's exactly. I don't know how many times I've said that to people, right? It's that's what you'll see. A lot of parking places or even police or whatever. And say, here's your, you get a speeding ticket as an example.
Yeah.
Here's your option on the back of the ticket. This is what you can do. But calling to scream at the company because they are the one that issued it isn't going to get you anywhere good.
No.
Like I said, I don't. And then some of them will come on social media and try that route and get blocked.
It's different. If you're coming at us with a level head. If you're coming at us calmly and say, hey, you know what? I'm not understanding why I received this ticket.
Yeah.
Can we discuss this? It's totally different than calling and just screaming
when you start
and
swearing,
berating.
Yeah. And and you're right about that. Or ask the guard if you happen to catch the guard while he's writing or he or she's writing the ticket. You can ask them for an explanation, right? And they'll probably do their best to educate you. And sometimes if you're lucky, if you get back to your vehicle before the ticket's written, well, then you're not going to get one, right? But if you have gotten one, it's just, I know it's one of those things, right? People, and sometimes we'll get negative reviews because somebody is upset because we did our job. I have to say the majority of negative reviews in 6 years have been because somebody's mad because we either give them a ticket or they kick them off. Now I got to go to Google or Facebook and get them to remove it because it's just false.
Yeah.
So so please work with us in that sense, and hopefully that explains it for some people because parking enforcement is newer for us. We started doing it more mainstream at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna check in after I went off on that. Derek again. I notice you guys have Vulture Storage as a client. Do you usually have issues in places like that? And if so, what kind? Glad to have you as guards there as my storage unit is located there. Yeah, Vulture is one of our clients.
Yep.
We
got signs out that say that we protect that business. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you are looking for local storage, check out Vulture. We've had some other storage compounds too in the city. It's nothing. I'm not a stranger to that. When I worked out in BC, the companies I worked for, we had storage compounds there. Yeah. As for problems, Vulture has been very good.
Vulture has been amazing. Yes.
They, as a client, take it seriously. Not only do they have us patrolling, but they have cameras. They have, fob access. They have good fencing. Yes. They make sure there's a lock policy in place. So you have to have a certain type of lock with them. And ever since they instituted those, the problems have been minimal, whereas other storage compounds around the city are constantly getting broken into.
Yeah.
So yes, storage compounds can be a problem, depending on the area, depending on what that compound has done
That's right.
to, minimize, the problems, right? So Valtra is good.
Yeah, just got to do your research.
Yeah,
that's all.
Exactly, and you may pay slightly a little bit more, but you're getting all these amenities, right?
That's right.
And they will tell you and advertise, say like, yeah, we have all these security measures in place, right?
Yes.
Not just the physical patrols, but all the other things. So that's hopefully that answers that, Derek. Joe, in any line of business, you're always going to get people who complain. Some people just enjoy complaining, frankly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree, Joe. Joe's worked in retail,
Yes.
right? So I have before, so I can attest to that. People, I worked at Tim Hortons through high school, and you take a lot of it there, because I had to wait for my coffee too long. And let's all face it, sometimes I go, Tim Hortons at night now, and I gotta wait a lot longer because there's only one or two open in the city.
Right.
A lot of them closed, overnight with COVID, and they just haven't opened back up. So, there's only a couple, and it's annoying. But, do I take it out on the staff? No, because I just know that they're doing their best. And I'm happy that they're there to give me my coffee. They choose to be there.
As long as they put one milk, one sugar, and stir it, I'm fine. I don't care how long it takes.
And you know what? And they're good to me. Like, I'm a regular, right? And I know a lot of the staff. It's only the two we go to, right?
That's right.
Sometimes country style too in the West End. So I'm okay with waiting a bit, but be kind to these people because they're working. They gotta wear a mask their whole shift, which isn't fun. And be happy that they are there to serve you or anybody, any job, right? Any industry you deal with that. Right?
That's right.
Even in media or broadcast, people don't like something you say.
Oh yeah, they're all over you.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors, we call them.
Exactly, right? Like, say you're having one of your podcasts, wrestling podcasts, right? Somebody doesn't agree with what you and Joe say, and then they start,
Yeah, well, it happens.
And you know what? And that's their opinion, and you guys have yours, right?
That's right.
And or somebody doesn't like my weather forecast for the day. Like, I'm sorry, right? Like, it is what it is. So, but I'm used to that with having the business. You put yourself out in the spot when your name is out there.
Yes.
My name is on the business, and not only that, we have Casey Roofing and Siding and Renovations, which is my father's business, and my stepmom. They've been in business 20 years, so I'm representing KC brand.
That's right.
When I came along, they had been around a lot longer and well established, and they have a good reputation as well, right? So we want to make sure that both brands kind of go cohesively. So that's why you'll recognize the colors, yellow and black.
Yep.
It's always good to mention a little history.
The font.
Yeah, the KC font. And people always wonder what it stands for. It stands for their initials of their names, Tim and Claude. So there's a little bit of a history on KC. When I was starting a company, it's like the name is the hardest part. And I'm thinking, I'm sitting there and trying to decide one night, and I was like, why don't I just do this? So I run it past them, right? Let's do it. That it's already brand recognition, right? So, rather than using my initials, that way I got something that's already out there.
That's right.
So it worked out well.
I mean, it could have worked out well too, and the security would have been on the DL.
Yeah. Yes. DL security. And some people use their, I could use LeBron security. I think use your last name. Like James Special Service and Owen Sound. That's Andrew James. It's his last name. Yep. So, and the Joel Carter, that's actually their last name. Mine. Yes. Right? Carter and Jolly. Right? Yeah. So there you go. It's the first three. So
I'm envious of that guy.
The
amount of shows and concerts and stuff that him and his company get to do.
So if you're watching, you watch us at some point, Ben, we really want to come and work some events with you. We will. Well, if we go down that way, I already told them the next time I go to Newfoundland, I'm stopping in Vita.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So of course we couldn't go this year because of all these restrictions.
Yeah.
So they're not open up properly. So next year, hopefully when Nathan and I go, we'll definitely we'll tour along the way, stop and see wherever we can from the companies that we deal with.
Exactly.
So a lot of them are along that route. So, but yeah, he's done some major events.
Oh yeah. And met some major people. like stars, right? Like movie and sports and music and stuff.
Because we don't get as much of that here. It's the same rate. Unfortunately, we're a smaller city, 70,000, so we don't see these kind of stars come here. Not to say that, but it'd just be nice to be able to provide security.
That's right.
When they come through. So and it's touching on that, our event business, and that was 90% of their business. Events. And us is a major component of our company. Mobile patrol is obviously our specialty. That's what we dominate in. But having that void, not having this summer feels weird. I will say, though, full disclosure, my stress level is down here because scheduling events and making sure you have enough people, like when we did Poutine Feast and then go north, River Days and all these
downtown street
parties. Like it gets to be, but I gotta make sure I have enough staff. Some days it can be dicey. You're double shifting people, so that's been. But there's a void, right? And he said the same thing, and he's actually branched out to be more mobile. I was kind of helping him with that, because that's what we specialize in.
Yeah,
and things are going well for them. So you kind of got to do that. You got to divert on the fly. And right now, we have banks and stuff like that where we're doing access control and screening. So that's kind of filled the void. So ironically, all the guards now get 9 to 5 jobs. Right? They all like the fact that they don't have to work night shifts and they get holidays and weekends off. Right? Yeah. Dan still works night shift, and Karl, we like 6 years. I'm not slowing down. I don't like people, right? I don't want to have to deal with people in the day. You know what I mean? I don't mean I don't like people. So when all this stay at home, wanting you to stay at home, isolation stuff started, I was like, that's just my normal. I work at night. I see like 1 or 2 people, so I'm like, other than not being able to go to the gym, I was like, this isn't really any different, right? Like I don't have to be around a whole bunch of people that I'm never around anyway.
Exactly.
So we like our nights. We work nights quite a bit. Rotate between Nathan and Karl every second weekend. So this weekend will be Karl and I on overnight. So if you see the vehicles, it's usually going to be one of us.
Oh yeah, always.
And then Nathan and him will rotate the day shifts usually on weekends. But I don't want to sit in an office per se. I like to be out on the road. It's just nice, right? Like I'm working at night, especially in hot summer days, it's cooler at night. There's a lot of perks, right? It's peaceful. You walk around these patrols, it's quiet. You hear the crickets and the cicadas and everything at night.
It's nice.
Okay, Derek. Security, roofing, renovations, weather. LOL. What's next for the KC brand? Well, the weather is not KC. That's through ONNtv here. But I don't know what would be. I don't know if we're gonna add anything to the KC. I mean, I talk with my dad about it every now and then, and we've looked at other different options. Yeah. But I mean, really, I don't want to get into too many things because they're nearing retirement in the next 4 to 5 years, and then I have to deal with the roofing too, right? So so then I'm going to have the 2 companies under one, which is so it's kind of smart the way it was set up this way. Then I can kind of have the same names, but who knows? We may look at something else, right? Along the lines. I know we did look at a cleaning company at one point to tie that in because security and janitorial are usually kind of go hand in hand, but maybe we'll have a restaurant. Who knows? Right? Maybe you'll see KC somewhere. You'll see
KC falafels.
Yeah, there's maybe some kind of entertainment center. Who knows? You just don't know what's going to pop up. I always wanted another bowling alley here, but right now I'm kind of glad I don't have one of those because it'd be tough on business. But, so I don't know, Derek. I don't know if there's anything next for the KC brand, but we do have that brand now that we can build on. So if we do add another business, we can have it's a group, a division of.
That's right. So, well, I think
we've been at 1 hour and 10. Yeah. We usually go an hour. So if anybody will make a call here to put in your last questions or comments, we'll finish by 6 here. It's 5:53. So by the time we get off of here, so if you do have any, it's good. It's been good. We've had, Derek and Joe have been interacting quite a bit, and
we understand that people are busy,
right. So
and
they may
you watch this afterwards.
Leave a question.
Leave a question or comment. We'll do our best to get back to you. Yeah.
Yeah. But we enjoy these. It's been a couple months. We've been busy, so we figured it was time to do one again. I said, and I'd like to do one with. Maybe we'll get all the other companies together again. You and I will host it, and we can do it and have them. But we'll try to do it once every month or two. We try to keep it regular, and using StreamYard is perfect because we're getting out to all of our channels. We're getting
That's
out
right.
all at once. Right, I don't have to upload it. It's going right to YouTube. So it's been a nice spot.
Oh yeah.
And then you guys doing the podcast now because they only did an audio version before.
Yeah, we only did audio,
and now you've got the video, so you check them out. Turnbuckle Talk podcast with Joe and Karl, I think it is on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search at TB Talk Pod.
Right,
that'll take you right there.
Right, and it's Mondays at 3 p.m. They go live, so you can see Karl there. So I mean you're basically we're all over the place, right? Like, you watch, you'll see us on some kind of video.
Yeah, always.
Look at this, our viewers are going right up now. Of course, we say we're going to end it.
It's only because I talked about my podcast.
See,
we're minding Joe's podcast. What does Joe say there?
Joe says to end off for those watching this for the first time. What services do you guys offer? That's a good one, Joe. Always good to remind people.
Services that we offer. Okay. I see that. Okay. We offer lots of different services. Mobile patrol, the biggest, event security, unlock and lock services as well.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I can even pull out one of my business cards and I've got them all listed.
There you go.
So alarm response, of course, incident response. So that would be like, say you have problems with vagrants at your property. We do a lot of those where you gotta go and lock, buildings or stuff, and kick people out that are hanging out. Or maybe you're dealing with loiterers, so you can call and dispatch, right? Basically, instead of calling the police for minor things, we would do that. Emergency services, and when you need last minute stuff, we do our best to accommodate that.
Yeah.
Event security, of course. We'll probably see some small events start to pop up soon now that the restrictions are loosening. So we're looking forward to that. Vacation patrols, of course, too, are people are starting to travel again.
Yes.
So I do want to make sure I remind people of that. I wasn't pushing the event or vacation patrols on our page for a while because it just was redundant, right? We weren't going anywhere. So definitely, if you're going away, we have some regular vacation patrol clients as well. Loss prevention, we don't really do a lot of it, but we're open to talking if you have a loss prevention requirement.
Yep.
So that's just some of our many services, Joe, that we have. And like I said, we specialize. And if you're looking because we get calls all the time for cameras and alarm systems and the tech side of stuff, we work with local partners such as ATS Alarms here locally. They've got 40 years experience, so they install the alarm system, they set all that up, and we would just do the response. Right? We've decided to focus on physical security side of things because that's what we know best.
Yes.
But you never know. One day the opportunity could present itself, right? So, I did have Michaela Bertucci Peterson come on here. Michaela was one of my old hairstylists from Victoria, British Columbia. She says, "So happy for you, miss cutting your hair." Thanks, Michaela. As you'll notice, I don't really do anything with it anymore. I just cut it myself, and they're probably going to do it today or tomorrow. The next couple of days, so when people see me tomorrow on the weather or whatever, the next day it'll be back to.
He says this is getting long.
Yeah, this is getting long for me when it gets near, the ears and stuff. But she used to cut my hair, and I used to style it up. I'd do the full hawk or something, or throw it up in messy look. And she was great. So I hope everything's going well for you out there in BC. I miss everybody in BC. I haven't been back there since I left. 3 years ago.
Whose fault is that?
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to see if maybe somebody will come here and visit, but you know, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the security buzz. Yeah. And then Colleen Irvine, which is Christine's
Yep.
mom, says Mike Tchaikovsky, love them both. So I guess he's referring to Mike's comment about yeah, well, she knows from Laird Fair and all that. So, but yeah, um, we'll wrap it up here in the next minute. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, see, an hour and 15 minutes, it just flies by.
It does.
You know,
where can people find Facebook for KC?
Right, so you can go at KC Patrol Services if you want to use the username for Facebook, or you can just type in KC Security Services in the search bar. We'll come up. We've got about 3,400 likes now.
Look for that logo.
Yeah. So our Facebook page is very interactive with lots of people on it. It's our biggest platform. So you can like the page. KCSecurity.ca will bring you to all of our services and information, testimonials, all that stuff. And we're on Instagram at KC Security Services, Twitter at KC Security Services, right? So we're on all those platforms. We're on LinkedIn too. Pretty much, and even a YouTube channel, which we're streaming on. So we're pretty much everywhere. We like to be social, and you know, like I said, if you have a question that you didn't get to ask live, ask it, and we will respond as best we can.
That's right.
So, but yeah, so it's 6 o'clock, everybody. So we'll wrap it up here so we can get out of the studio. I will be back here in the morning on special report for anybody tuning in to the weather and to the show. Search Sault Online on Facebook and you can see it there. And then we'll be back probably within another month or so, maybe September. We'll do another one with a Q&A.
Sounds good.
See who we can bring on. Maybe we'll bring on some special guests.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in and have a good night. And we'll talk to you soon.